How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to install SDRTrunk on Linux. I am using the Linux Mint Debian edition for this example. I can't speak too much on other Linux distributions, but I do know that some distributions will struggle a little bit because they install default kernel modules for the RTL SDR device, which is the device that I am using in this example. And so you might have to do a little bit of extra troubleshooting, but I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to make that troubleshooting go down a little bit easier. Now, I do want to say that the USB port on this device is better plugged in on a non-high-speed USB port. Those are going to be the ports that are highlighted in blue. So again, you're going to not want to plug this into one of those ports. However, you may have a little bit better luck than I did on those ports, but I just plugged this into a port that does not have that blue on the inside of the USB port indicating a USB 3 type port. So I just plug this into a regular port. So I'm going to plug this in, and then I'm going to come back. We're going to hop over on the computer screen here, and we're going to get started with installing SDRTrunk on Linux. All right, so I have my Firefox browser open on Linux Mint Debian Edition. I've searched for SDRTrunk. And if we go down and look at the first search result, we're going to go ahead and click on that, and that's going to take us to the SDRTrunk GitHub repository. We're going to scroll down, and you're going to see a download link. We're going to click on that, and that's going to take us to the builds pages or the releases page. And you can see here we have a nightly at the top. That's going to be a pre-release. Now you can go ahead and try that. But I don't recommend running pre-releases. I recommend running final releases, which is going to be 0.6.1. Scroll to the bottom down here after all of the change logs, and you should see the assets here. If not, there should be a little arrow next to assets, and you can see all the available downloads right here. And so what we're going to do is download the version for Linux x86-64. This is going to be for anybody running an Intel or AMD CPU. Now, if you're running ARM, then you're going to download the Linux ARC64. And of course, they have installers for Mac OS and Windows. And I've actually got a video on how to install SDRTrunk in Windows. I'll leave a link in the description if you are interested in that. And so we're going to go ahead and download the SDRTrunk Linux x86-64 zip file. And it's going to get dropped into our downloads folder. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the downloads folder. And you'll see the SDRTrunk zip file inside the downloads folder. Now you can right click and say extract here. And that might look a little bit different. If you're running KDE or GNOME or some other desktop environment, it may be extract archive. It could be labeled something a little bit different, but you want to unzip the file regardless. And that's going to leave you with an SDRTrunk folder. So I'm going to double click that. And then inside this folder, you're going to see some more folders, specifically paying attention to the bin folder and the lib folder. If we go into lib, this is actually where you're going to see a lot of jar files, and these are Java archives. And this is what SDRTrunk is developed in. And other programs you install in Linux may also have a lib folder with various libraries for the program itself. Now we're going to go back to the main folder here and go into bin. And you can see inside bin, we have a couple other files in here. And generally speaking, anything in a bin folder is going to be some sort of file you can execute, like a program or a script. These are actual programs indicated by the gear icon for Linux Mint. And then these are scripts, which you can see has kind of an icon that looks like text. We're actually going to be running the SDRTrunk, but I don't want to run it right now from this user interface or from the desktop interface by just double clicking. I'm going to instead open up a terminal. And if the terminal doesn't show up there, you should be able to find the terminal in one of the menus up here. You can probably just type term in the search bar to find terminal. But with my version of Linux Mint Debian Edition, it was already in the taskbar. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Now, if you're not familiar with Linux in the command line, no worries. We're going to walk through this. I'm going to start off with the ls command, which is basically just how you list all the files or show all the files for where you currently are. You can type pwd also to see where you are on the file system. So I'm in the home James folder, and we want to go into the downloads folder. So I'm going to type cd downloads. And then I'm going to type ls again to list all the files and folders in the downloads folder. And then we're going to go into the SDR trunk. And by the way, I'm going to type SDR and hit the tab key. And it's going to auto fill out a folder that's in the current folder that you're in. So now I can hit enter, type ls again, and you can see it's very familiar, right? Just like the file browser tool in the Linux desktop user interface, we get the same exact folders in the command line. So we're going to go into the bin folder, type ls, and now you can see the various binaries that are in here. Now we know SDRTrunk is most likely a script, but just for fun, and I know this is going a little bit above and beyond the scope of the video, but I want everybody to be familiar with some basic commands. We're going to type cat SDRTrunk, and this is the pipe key. That's going to be just above the back. It's going to be shift backslash and less. And less is going to drop the output into a text editor that will let us kind of just view the contents of that SDRTrunk script. And now we can tell that it is definitely a script because you can just see it's text. If this was a binary, it would probably show up as looking like encryption and just a bunch of random weird characters and stuff. So this is clearly a script. We're not going to go through it, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. And then from in here, you can type :Q to quit. Now what we can do is type /SDRTrunk. And this is going to start SDRTrunk in the terminal, and it'll pop up the user interface. And the reason why we do it this way is so that we can get additional information if something goes wrong. And what this will allow you to do is take any errors that pop up and copy those into, say, ChatGPT or some other AI model to help you troubleshoot your system. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter there. And it's going through a bunch of steps here. I want to bring up the text console again. I know the GUI came up and everything looks like it's running. But before we dive in, I want to go back to the console here. And you can see all the different output you're getting when you run from the command line. And then just gives you a little bit more control. Let's just say there was an error down here. You could highlight this, right-click copy, and then paste that into ChatGPT or whatever AI model you're using to help you troubleshoot. So that's the reason why I want to cover running SDRTrunk from the command line specifically in Linux. And of course, you can see here the tuner. It found the tuner, right? So that's a good clue. I'm just kind of showing you some of the different things you can look at in here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and minimize this and start working with SDRTrunk. So we're going to go up to View, and then we're going to go down to User Preferences, and then we're going to go to Audio Output. And this is where you're going to want to make sure that your playback is correct. I'm looking at the ELSA playback default in stereo, and to confirm, I can hit the test button. So I just clicked it 3 times and it looks like everything is going good. SDRTrunk sometimes does select some other device, maybe an HDMI output for a monitor or something like that. So if you're not getting any audio output, you're going to want to make sure that this is selected. Now, if you're using another Linux distribution such as Ubuntu or something else, they may use something other than ELSA playback. But I do know with the Linux Mint Debian edition, ELSA playback is what is currently being used. So I'm going to click OK here. Everything is good to go there. Now we're going to go to the playlist editor, and we're going to go to channels. And there's already some frequencies programmed in here. I'm going to delete these so that we can start over again. These are going to be my dispatch for fire EMS and my sheriff's department. So we're going to select new, NBFM. Under system, these are kind of like labels here. So I like to say gov for a government frequency, site, local, right, just for my locality. Name, dispatch. Frequency, 460.400. This is for my fire and EMS dispatch. You're going to have to Google search the frequency for your county or your city or the town that you live in. Then I'm going to click save, click yes. And now what I'm going to do is go up here and hit clone on this because I want the same gov or the same system in site, just a different frequency. So clone, and then I'm going to call this the PO for my local sheriff, 460.550. I'm going to click, make sure preferred tuner is selected. It should be already selected because we cloned, and hit save. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test this out. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit the play button here. And if you notice over my voice, there's a lot of static going on, and that is because of our squelch threshold. Now, I already know, just based on already using SDRTrunk, what kind of squelch is good for the frequencies I have. Oops. And that's going to be 58. And then when you type this, by the way, click just the outside of it, and then that lets you save it. And I'm going to do the same thing for the dispatch. I'm going to go ahead and make that 58, click just outside of it so you can hit save. And now when I play these, they should be good to go. And you won't hear that static. And so you might have to play with this number a little bit in order to filter out unnecessary squelching and static, right? And auto squelch sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't, but I find that just finding a number manually works best for me. And now we can go ahead and close this out or minimize it. And now you can see SDRTrunk already zoomed in to the two frequencies. Now down here you have some different tabs. These tabs are going to be used mainly for... Oh, we got a communication coming in. Let's listen in.
Go ahead. Can you run a T number for me? Go ahead. Tango 6 1 1 5 3 0.
So to continue what I was talking about with these 4 different tabs, these are going to be mainly for when you start working with digital communications and listening to digital communications here. And so largely these can be ignored if you're listening to your typical analog fire, EMS, dispatch, things like that. So I'm going to drag that down a little bit. We're only monitoring 2 frequencies here in the now playing tab, so I'm going to drag that down. And if you noticed when we had communications going on that this turns into a call, a blue call icon like it is there. I have it muted now so we don't have to listen to it. And you can also see in the waterfall up here for this particular frequency, as well as the frequency analyzer itself, you can see that power spike when there's a call happening, which is very useful if you're kind of surfing around looking at the different frequencies. And of course you can use the scroll on your mouse to zoom way out and to zoom way in. You know, now that I think about it, I think I have these 2 frequencies labeled backwards. I think this is actually the sheriff's department that's on this particular one. And you can see the broadcast happening. You can see when the dispatch talks, and then there's a pause between when they talk and when the receiving individual, the police officer, whoever, talks. So this is basically it for installing SDRTrunk on Linux. Well, folks, that is a wrap for this video installing SDRTrunk on Linux. And I want to emphasize using the command line to start SDRTrunk because it is very helpful to get output when you do need to troubleshoot a problem. It lets you copy and paste that into ChatGPT or some AI model online to help you troubleshoot. So I just want to emphasize that little tip there to help you get started, especially if you're somewhat new to the Linux ecosystem. So with that said, folks, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.